summer boo at the crib, just chilling, trying to figure out what I'm gonna do today. How about you throw on something sexy and come my way? I got a treat for you, man, you're gonna like it. I hear those giggles, go ahead and get excited. You saying, babe, that your man is a lame guy? Having sex with him is just like watching paint dry. Damn, I really hope that ain't true. But if it is, here's what I'm gonna do for you. And when you get here, I'm not just gonna bang it, I'ma smash it too, so let's just say I'm gonna sing. Let me swing it, girl. Smash it in, let me swing it, girl. Smash it in, let me swing it, girl. Smash it in, smash it.
Good morning, everyone. Good to be here. Comic Artist Pro Secrets. I am Ethan Van Sciver. Yeah, good morning. Wasn't sure if I was going to do a recorded video this early or if I was going to just do a quick live stream like I used to. And this is what we decided to do. We decided to do a live stream. I put it up to Twitter. I said, what do you want to do? You want me to record or do you want me to go live? And everybody generally said, go live. People are bored, getting ready for work. It's Monday. It's Monday. Yes. You got to get back to work. We all do. Got a busy day today. Oh my God, very busy. Yeah. All right, let me get all set up here. Let me get all organized. Let me see what's going on in the chat. We got 106 people watching on a Monday morning. Good morning, everyone. Let's see. Vlad Riot. Hey, how you doing? Last Vandalier. Good morning. Let's see. They're asking 1 million. I wish your name was different. 18 million views. No, it's 1,832,947 views. Did Brie Tard Larson do her live Twitter AMA? That's Ask Me Anything. Did she do that yet? Just curious how bad it was or will be. Not as far as I know. I was alerted to that. I was told that, she was going to be doing some kind of like Ask Me Anything. And I don't know if I'm going to cover it. Honestly, I don't know if that's something I feel like doing. But I guess I'll cover the aftermath. Do I think it's going to be good? It's so tightly scripted. Everything about Brie Larson is carefully controlled. Everything about Captain Marvel is being carefully controlled. Would they actually do anything to make her look bad or to let someone who they've established they feel is a troll into the mix? I don't think so. I don't think they would. I think you're going to get a lot of questions like, when you think about how you're inspiring tens of millions of little girls to not be wage slaves or to just be housewives, to get out there and do something more important, like get on the subway and punch an 80-year-old woman across the face as hard as you can. How does that make you feel? How does it make you feel to know that you're changing the world? That is probably what it's going to be like. And Brie Larson will be like, Brie Larson will make that Brie Larson face, which is like, Brie Larson kind of looks down her nose and then kind of looks at everybody like that. Like that's her whole demeanor is all about shaming you, about how she's here to correct some great wrongs. It should be a pretty weird AMA. Maybe I'll attend. I don't know. Is it tonight? I'm not sure, but Captain Marvel stuff. Look, this weekend is the premiere of Captain Marvel. Everybody's getting ready for it. I talked to Andrea about it this morning over breakfast, and I was like, this is a very serious situation. It's like, do I go see Captain Marvel or do I stay home? I don't want to give my $12 to $18 to her box office opening total. I don't want to do that. But at the same time, I feel like I need to know if the movie's good or not so I can talk about it. This is a crisis. This is an absolute crisis. And she's like, well, you got to go. I mean, like, would Siskel and Ebert like stay home? And I'm like, well, they would now, but no, I guess not. But on the other hand, like, I'm not Siskel and Ebert. I'm kind of I'm talking about how horrible this movie is and the people, not the movie. I don't know if the movie's horrible yet, but I'm talking about how horrible and annoying the agenda behind the movie seems to be and the energy that's propelling the rejection of all criticism of the way the movie's being promoted is definitely, it smells like The Last Jedi. It is SJWism. It smells like Ghostbusters 2016. This is the third time now. This should be strike three, you're out. I mean, do I want to participate? And I finally came to the conclusion that it's like, no, I think I'm not going to go. I am boycotting this movie, at least on opening weekend. I might go sometime next week when it doesn't add to their opening box office figures, just to give a review. And I think a funny review would be absolutely worthwhile for my channel. But no, I can't participate in this. I just can't. FP Sunny says Solo was strike 3. Well, Solo, it's almost like Solo is something I feel bad for. Solo was them kind of trying to apologize for The Last Jedi or just test the waters. And we smacked them back so hard, they still haven't recovered. Can we do that again for Captain Marvel? This is the question. I look at Captain Marvel and I'm just like, it's a Marvel movie. There hasn't been one that's failed yet, but they're deliberately agitating a good portion of the movie-going audience and a good portion of people that actually, are paying attention to this kind of a thing. I wonder if there have to be box office repercussions. Do you get rewarded even more by, let's just say, like if you piss off the white male segment of the movie-going audience by calling them trolls and Nazis, do you get rewarded with more feminists? I don't know. We're going to find out. It just seems like a bad bet. It just seems like a bad bet all in all. All right. Here's an article here from AP Marvel. I got to rub my eye. All right, look. This is pretty funny. Tim Pool did an article or did a video that I watched that was based around this article. Captain Marvel might not be the feminist phenomenon we want. Actually, it kind of is for me. I got to be honest with you. It's been pretty good. Do I want updates? I don't want updates from... no, not get updates. Where's the X so I don't have to get updates? Yeah, it has been the feminist phenomenon that I want because it's illustrative and it's colorful and people can feel it. When you talk about something that everyone is kind of entertained by, everyone's concerned about, like a superhero movie. This is something we all participate in as a society, and it's annoying like this. Yeah, this is the feminist phenomenon that I think people who are anti-third wave feminist are looking for. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. Here's the feminist in question here. Her name is Izzy Co, and she's followed by 5 people. Izzy Co, great name. God, they all have such wonderful names. I like my name, but my name isn't as cool as like Izzy Co, In any case, this article was the basis of the Tim Pool video that suggested that, look, there might be some rumblings behind the scenes of Marvel Comics. Is it the MCU? What does MCU stand for? Marvel Comics Universe? I'm not really sure. But yeah, behind the MCU, there's a little bit of rumbling of tensions about whether or not Captain Marvel is going to succeed or not. I mean, it might fail. It might fail. And what happens if it fails? Because Captain Marvel is connected to the next movie, Avengers Endgame. And then rumors are out there right now that they actually reshot an alternate ending for Avengers Endgame just in case Captain Marvel actually sickens a good percentage of the Marvel movie-going population. And I think it's actually going to. It's all up in the air. I'm not really sure. Every single time this happens, I doubt myself, and it turns out that everything goes exactly the way I thought it should. The world makes sense when SJWs and feminists champion anything, it fails. And so I kind of feel like, wow, is it going to happen again? Yeah, I think it is. All right, so here's the thing. Marvel's concerned about it too. They may have actually filmed a second ending where instead of Captain Marvel, as one would expect, saving the day by defeating Thanos, Captain America and Black Widow somehow are able to do it. Isn't that funny? Like the two unpowered. Captain America is kind of powered. I mean, he's steroids, but the 2 underpowered Avengers. Now, if only Hawkeye was in there, it would make the point even more kind of poignant. But they're the ones who end up taking down, the Mad Titan. It'd be interesting. So I guess there's one ending in which Brie Larson saves the day, and another ending in which the characters that we already like save the day. Now, so Tim Pool did a video about this, and it was pretty fascinating. Everybody sent it to me and said, "Are you going to comment on this? Are you going to get Tim Pool on your show? Are you going to do that?" No, I'm commenting on it now. I'm not going to get Tim Pool on the show. But apparently this site here, AP Marvel, Medium, I don't know what AP Marvel is. Is this just a Marvel fan site? What exactly is this? Well, they do have a political bias. They do have a stand, and they have added this. Look, update from the editor-in-chief yesterday. So yesterday, they added this update. I love this so much. This is a Twitter tweet here. It's a tweet on Twitter from a tweet. AP Marvel on Patreon. How do I change the name? I got to change the name of my Twitter to actually beg for money. Yeah. Hey, it's Ethan Van Sciver on Subscribestar. Like literally, like my name is begging for money. A particular video from a dubious person. Tim Pool, dubious person. Dubious Pool. Dubious person acting in bad faith. Tim Pool acting in bad faith? I can't imagine that. I don't think Tim Pool acts in bad faith. Has been sharing our Captain Marvel article, misrepresenting our publication's viewpoints, and supports misogynistic conspiracy theories, to which we do not subscribe. He's not working for you. He's just using your article as well, all right, we go on. We do not wish to be associated with these views as they are not our own, despite the misuse of our logo. I'm pretty sure this is all right. In any case, and the writer's name. Okay, well, here's the bad news. When you post an article like this, when you actually write an article, people can comment on your article. People can use it. It's called fair use. Now you're able to say, yeah, I disagree with what he had to say with his commentary based on our article. But that's implicit in the fact that it's him making the video, not you. He made the video. You didn't. There's no need for you to say, his comments making fun of my article, I don't subscribe to them. And is Tim Pool a misogynist? And by the way, is the idea that like Avengers, Marvel may have filmed 2 alternate endings based on the success of Captain Marvel? If that's a misogynistic conspiracy theory, one has to ask the question, why is Captain Marvel... it must be. Captain Marvel is, in your opinion, a feminist phenomenon. So when people say, why are you reacting to Captain Marvel as though it were some kind of political movie or political propaganda? All of these people kind of gaslight me and Geeks and Gamers and other people on YouTube, asking us why we're pretending Captain Marvel is a feminist phenomenon. It's SJW. And then on the other hand, you write articles like this, and then you decry people who are covering this movie and covering the issues surrounding this movie as a misogynistic conspiracy theory. It seems like you're proving our point, AP Marvel on Patreon. AP Marvel on Patreon. Seems like you're proving our point. How you doing on Patreon? Let me just take a quick look here. Oh, $65 per month. $65 per month. I can see. Why? You must protect your brand. Interesting. Interesting. All right. Not hating. Not hating. Original story. AP Marvel is looking for diverse voices from underrepresented and marginalized communities to provide written content such as the following essay. Please consider supporting our Patreon so we can pay our writers. Yeah. So they can pay their writers. All right. Here we go. I'm still worried about Captain Marvel. Yup, you heard me. But Izzy, you say, all those social media reactions and reviews for Captain Marvel have been nothing but positive and glowing. And they're saying that this movie is going to reinvent the MCU. And they're saying it'll pretty much be like Black Panther for women. You're a woman. Isn't that good for you? But this is what always happens. I freak out if I think a Marvel movie won't be good. And then my expectations are still blown away by it. Even if it takes a while. Like how I watched Spider-Man Homecoming twice to really enjoy it. I watched it once drunk. And I had a great time with it. I have no idea what happened. I know Michael Keaton was in it, and I know Spider-Man was kind of a puss, and I liked it, man. I thought it was good. You know, I'll watch it again, sober, I guess. Why not? They had to watch it twice to really enjoy it. Here's the thing. By the way, I just want to point something out. It's not necessary that you enjoy something. How do these people have this much time in their day that they can watch the same movie twice when they didn't like it the first time? I don't understand. I don't have time for this. I get 15 minutes into a movie that I don't like, and I shut it off. And will I ever return to it? No. No. You know why? because there are millions. There are literally millions of movies out there that I'll actually get into and like. Millions of them. Why would I watch Spider-Man Homecoming twice when I didn't really enjoy it the first time? This is someone who's determined to enjoy things that they don't like. Determined. I have come to adore every movie of Phase 3 thus far. I've come to. Over time, I've beaten myself. I've abused myself with Marvel's movies until I've learned to love them. I'm like, oh my God. How I stopped worrying and learned to love Marvel Comics. At this point, these worries feel like a predictable. Oh, this literally is Doctor Strange. That would be my article. It'd be called Doctor Strange Love, the love of Doctor Strange, because that was a horrible movie. How I learned to stop worrying and love the MCU, or Doctor Strange Love by Ethan Van Sciver. I could totally. This is why AP Marvel needs to hire me. AP Marvel, do you want to? Oh, underrepresented, marginalized. I'm white male. So no, I won't be writing for this. I feel so marginalized. At this point, Roger Cruz, thanks for $20. Wanted to pop in and say thanks for everything. Have a great week. Well, thanks for $20. James Dean Anderson says, I love how they're trying to dog one of the most center-left and honest reporters ever, but they don't name him to avoid making Tim Pool even bigger. Yeah, I don't see. The only thing untrustworthy about Tim Pool is the fact that he's bald under his hat and he won't take his hat off. Like that means you're hiding something. Now, I am bald under my hat, but every now and then I'll take my hat off and show you my head. And then people, especially women, write me in comments and say, you look like a peanut. Well, what the Michael Rodriguez says, hi, Ethan, what do you dislike about Mark Ruffalo? He's an SJW. He's an annoying Trump deranged SJW. Well, first of all, I don't like him as, I'm glad you asked. We'll get back to this article in a second. I don't like him as Bruce Banner. He doesn't look like Bruce Banner. I don't know why people don't understand that. He doesn't look like Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner is meant to be a weakling. He's a little wimpy scientist. He's a nerdy, wimpy scientist. The smaller Bruce Banner is, the better. That's the whole point. The whole point is the contrast between Bruce Banner and then the Hulk. It's like if he's already a big, thick-lipped weirdo, like what's his name is that we're talking about? What's his name? I always forget. I have to scroll back now. Mark Ruffalo is. Mark Ruffalo. If he's a big, thick-necked chunk, then then him turning into the Hulk is not really that big of a deal. You want to see him go from little tiny shrimp to the Hulk because of anger, and that's something else. How smart of a scientist was Bruce Banner anyway? How smart of a scientist was he? Oh, I'm going to go wander out to an atomic test site. That sounds like a good plan, pal. The science. And then he's the Hulk. Every single Marvel character was born out of stupidity. Every single one of them. Except for the X-Men. And Captain America, too. Captain America, that's a very DC Comics kind of character there. But, most of them, hey, just playing around with radioactive spiders, flying my rocket ships into radioactive far reaches of space. Everything's radioactive. Cosmic rays. Whoops. Getting mutated, nearly killing all my friends. My bad. Oh, no. A truck, dumped a whole lot of goop on my face, and now I have radar sense. I'm Daredevil now. Whoops. A lot of whoopses. All right. Moving on. So that's the other thing is he's just, if you go to his social media, if you look at his Twitter, Mark Ruffalo is a ding-a-ling. I mean, he's out there bashing Trump every single day. And when I see that, and then I'll see him wearing a pussy hat, like at some, feminist march. He's a creep, man. When I see men at feminist marches, I think creep instantly. Something's wrong with you. I'm with the women. There's something wrong with you. If you're a man and you're at some feminist rally, immediately it says predator to me. Immediately I go, ding, ding, sexual predator. Anyway, that's Mark Ruffalo. I hope that was worth your $2. Yeah. All right, so moving on. At this point, these worries feel like a predictable ride, one that I'm a bit tired from and almost a bit doubtful of. Is this some kind of Marvel marketing mentality that I'm trapped in, and do others feel this way? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I kind of avoid most Marvel movies. I see them on airplanes accidentally, fall asleep halfway through them. I mean, that's most of the Marvel movies for me. I go, what is this? Oh no, a hole in the sky again. Aliens are coming in. You know. Oh, everybody's sarcastic. Oh, everybody's snarky. Nobody takes what they're doing seriously. Ha 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 ha. It's fun. It's fun. Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon. Thank goodness for you and the impact you've had on pop culture. Where would we be without Joss Whedon? My worries don't just stem from this mentality, however. No, they don't. They don't. Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman is probably one of the DCU's biggest accomplishments over Marvel Studios, having both the first female director for a superhero movie and having a female-led superhero movie in their franchise 2 years before their rival. And leading up to Wonder Woman, the movie had its time to shine. It had a hot spotlight on it for many reasons, and Warner Brothers made sure Wonder Woman's hard work and achievements got the attention it deserved. They didn't really, honestly, I think that the feeling about Wonder Woman that people had was, yeah, she's the female Superman, and like, yeah, she's been around. She can hold her own. We used to love the TV show. Could there ever be a Wonder Woman other than Linda Carter? And everybody knows Wonder Woman. And by the way, if you know, I worked at DC Comics for 20 years, and there was always, up until recently, there was always a problem with Wonder Woman. Nobody quite knew what aspects of Wonder Woman to keep and what to throw away. You know, Wonder Woman's had a long history. She used to ride a kangaroo, and she used to get tied up and spanked a lot. You know, she used to pull the Japanese out of their airplanes and smack them in the face. So people had a problem. Like, what do we do with Wonder Woman? Like, none of her powers really make sense together. Why does she have an invisible jet when she can fly? What is all this nonsense? Like, Wonder Woman is like just a hodgepodge of weirdness. So what do we keep? How do we explain most of this away? What do we get rid of? And for a long time, there was also this attitude at DC. And I heard this from a couple of editors who are no longer there. They said, and this was like early, this was like 2000, 2001. They said, look at Wonder Woman, like, and ask yourself this question, like, do you want to have sex with her? And I'd be like, I never thought of it that way before. Isn't that weird? Never really thought of that. Like, she's a woman, and a beautiful woman, but like, there's something about her that you're just kind of like, yeah, I don't know. I think women have sexual fantasies about Superman. I know they do, because my third grade teacher told me. I'll never forget that. Back in the 1980s, kids, movies like Superman, people didn't have VCRs really, and not really, and basically, you know, you'd want a movie to come on TV. Like, if Superman 1 was playing on TV, it'd be on CBS, and it would be a big event. You know, you'd pop popcorn. You were there at 8 p.m. to watch it. It was a free movie. So the next day, you know, everybody at school would have watched Superman. And I remember my third grade teacher, Mrs. Kuhn. Her name was Kuhn. And Kathy Kuhn. What a great name. And she was just spinning around the classroom. What's up, Mrs. Kuhn? She's like, I didn't get much sleep last night. I was out flying with Superman. And I was like, huh. Yeah, so women do like Superman, or at least they like Christopher Reeve. I certainly did like Linda Carter. I think seeing Linda Carter at the age of 5 is when I realized at the age of 5 that I really like girls. I really like women. Linda Carter, the perfect woman. But yeah, in the comics, Wonder Woman in the comics for a long time, I don't know what it was. There was just no spark to Wonder Woman. She wasn't really sexy. She was just a kind of female Superman. And that was a problem for people. I think that people were speculating that that's why Wonder Woman comics kept kind of not working out. They weren't selling. Now, sometime, you know, I don't know, 15 years later, Jim Lee came on board. Wonder Woman kind of got a revamp. And obviously now Gal Gadot has made Wonder Woman just incredibly sexy. And the answer is yes to any questions with that regard. But for a long time, Wonder Woman had a lot of trouble. And so the idea of a Wonder Woman movie working out the way that it did just seemed kind of far-fetched. But because the character has so much history, and because really if you weed out some of the weirdness, it really is pretty linear. It's a pretty good story. Of course it was going to work out. All you needed was a charming lead. They found the perfect charming lead in Gal Gadot, who knew how to behave herself. Gal Gadot conducted herself on the campaign trail, on the promotional trail, like a lady and like somebody who actually was Wonder Woman. That weirdo goofball who played the Flash was trying to goad her on into saying that, like toxic masculinity, your time is up. Say it, Gal. And Gal just went, what's toxic? How about if I just say abusers? How about if I say abusers, your time is up? And he's like, that's good. Say that. So she's like, okay, abusers, your time is up. Are you happy now? Gal Gadot is awesome. Gal Gadot is totally awesome for that. She was like, I'm not gonna condemn. I'm not gonna make some political statement here, for your benefit, you weirdo leftist. And by the way, when she did that moment, I mean, she won over everyone's heart. And Gal Gadot is now Wonder Woman forever. Now, Brie Larson is having real problems because Brie Larson is only winning the hearts of people like Ezra Miller. Brie Larson is out there saying exactly what somebody like Ezra Miller would want her to say. And it just doesn't feel good. It just doesn't feel good to normal people. It feels toxic. It really is toxic. Toxic is just this thing that you go, like, I can't coexist with this. I can't coexist with this attitude, with this person, with this thing. It's poisonous. It's poisonous. That's how Brie Larson has been out there promoting Captain Marvel, and she's getting a lot of help. She's getting a lot of help. Look at this. By a long shot, Captain Marvel is not receiving that same treatment from Marvel Studios, shoehorned into a poignant release date, International Women's Day. Nearly all of Captain Marvel's publicity efforts are being overshadowed by the fact that the sequel to Avengers Infinity War will be a mere month and a half away when Captain Marvel soars. Now when I hear Captain Marvel soars, I think about her feet. Spelled differently, S-O-R-E-S. Captain Marvel soars. Her feet are disgusting. I wish I didn't see them, and I wish nobody noticed them. I don't look at women's feet, and I'm not somebody who's into feet. Not into them. They're okay. I'm not disgusted by feet. I'm not turned on by feet. I will give Andrea a nice foot rub if she wants, and I don't care. But yeah, when I saw her feet, I was like, oh, I get it. Captain Marvel's soars come into theaters. This date came after 2 date shifts too. The first after Marvel and Sony's Spider-Man deal, pushing the movie from July 6th to November. And the second after Ant-Man and Wasp came to occupy Captain Marvel's original spot, pushing Captain Marvel now from November 2018 to next Friday. This movie's memorable and heavily related release date, similar to Black Panther's release during Black History Month, should not make me feel better about missing out on this movie for over a year. In fact, at times it makes me feel worse. It shows that they don't care about this movie enough to defend it on more solid ground, trying to cash in on the fact that, yeah, she's a woman. She'll love this movie. That is true. I actually agree with that a lot. But what she's not understanding, and what is kind of interesting for people who are looking for this movie to fail, and by the way, I am looking for this movie to fail because of the way it's being presented. It's being presented as, hey, here's a spiked baseball bat to your head because you're a white male, and we find you to be toxic, and we find you to be the problem in the world. So this movie's going to fix that, and I don't see how. And so I hope this movie does fail to discourage similar SJW uprisings, even though every single movie like this has failed and they still haven't learned their lesson. Here's what you're not getting. The fact of the matter is, the way that they placed this movie, the way that Marvel, the way that Kevin Feige placed this movie was the kindest thing that he could do. If this movie were released independent of anything, it would bomb. It would be Marvel Comics' first bomb. It would be Solo. Timing is definitely everything. Ask Disney. They learned all kinds of lessons from Solo. Disney still feels that the reason Solo failed was because they released it in May. By the way, May is the release date for all 6 of the original movies. Only since Disney took over have Star Wars movies been released in December. But they released one in May and it failed. And the reason why it failed wasn't because of the day that they released it. It was because of The Last Jedi and the fans trying to send Disney a message, which I don't think they've even heard yet. But they're going to hear this message. It doesn't really matter when you release Captain Marvel, when you sort of promote it and propel it with all kinds of noxious, awful SJW, propaganda, which is pretty much what's going on, which is what this article is. And yet Kevin Feige is doing you the biggest favor in the world by acting as though this movie ties into the relevant and compelling Avengers story arc that ends 6 weeks after this movie comes out. Kevin Feige is actually fooling people into thinking that this movie has anything to do with that. It doesn't. From what I understand, you don't need to see this movie. It's just, hey, here's what it is. You see at the end of the last Avengers movie, Nick Fury picks up his little cell phone messenger and, oh, Captain Marvel's symbol is on there. Who's Captain Marvel, you may ask? She's Brie Larson. Here's a whole movie that takes place in the 1990s to tell you the backstory of who Captain Marvel is. But you don't need to see it if you already know. And we already know. And by the way, even if we didn't know, the next movie is going to pick it up, and you will learn when Captain Marvel returns to deal with the threat of Thanos. This is all backstory. So Kevin Feige placing this movie on Women's Day 6 weeks before Avengers Endgame is the biggest favor he could possibly do. He's pretending this movie's important. He is going to get people who feel like they need to see this movie, don't want to see this movie, but need to see this movie to follow the entire story into the movie theaters. This is exactly what Marvel Comics has been doing with their big event comics, flooding the shelves. They'll say, here's War of the Realm, and here's 600 other movies that or other comic books that you need to read to round out the story. This is the same exact strategy, except at a much higher level. Jane Turner says, Ethan, listening to yourself, you sound like a crazy person. I do? You think that sounds nuts? It's just the real world. Hold on a second. Let me take a drink. And let's take a look at the chat. Good morning, says Cecil, driving and listening. 4-Star says, March 8th is International Communist One Punch Whammon Day. Coke Man says, Jane is a troll, by the way. Trolls are welcome. Trolls are welcome. She's been trolling the whole time, Ethan. Okay, well. Yeah, where are my mods? Throw out these trolls. Throw out people like Jane Turner. She's not allowed to listen to me and criticize me. Axie, thanks for $2. Can Rainbow Brute backers get an EVS foot calendar? Well, that's a good question, Axie. You want 12 months of my feet? I could definitely hire a photographer to take pictures of my feet in various festive backgrounds to make up for, to kind of represent each month. Diablo says, Baba Booey, Baba Booey. Thank you. I don't have a foot fetish, actually, guys. Yeah. Neil Salmon says, you sound perfectly sane to me, Uncle Ethan. Of course. Just because I shout doesn't mean I'm not making sense. Nerdette's newsstand is here. She says, good morning. Everyone subscribe to Nerdette. She's got a really, really good channel. I've been enjoying it lately. Good videos. Much better production than me. I mean, I just aim my phone at my iPad and I point, I gesticulate wildly with a pencil. But every time I try to do it differently, people yell at me and go, bring back the iPad and the pencil. And then people say, you're just filming your iPad. Yeah. I don't know. You can't please everyone. You have to just please yourself. Brett Favre says, Brie Larson fatigue before the movies even come out. Fatigue? Was that intentional? Yeah, I think so. I think there's a little bit of people getting tired of Brie Larson's attitude. Josh the Amazing Animator says, hey, EVS, any word on whether you'll be getting Mr. Marvel on to talk about Wanpool and his story? He reached out to me. We had a nice little chat, a quick exchange on Twitter, behind the scenes, DMs. And yeah, look, it's weird. We were both under the impression that the other one didn't like the other one, that we didn't like each other. And I was like, dude, I have no opinion about you. None. I don't know anything about you. I'm willing to form an opinion. And he, yeah. I was like, but I thought you didn't like me. I'd heard rumblings that you didn't like. This is the thing. This is miscommunication. So we'll see. Well, I'll bring him on and we'll see how we get along. And as usual, it really helps if people have good chemistry and work out well on live streams. It helps everyone. Diablo AZ says, love the morning streams on the way to work. Yeah, thank you. People like the word gesticulating. The leftover likes the word gesticulating because it sounds like something is coming from your scrotum. That's kind of the impression that word gives. It sounds like you're kind of, like something is happening in your scrotal region. It's a gross word, but it's a good word. James Dean Anderson says, it's actually kind of embarrassing that MCU Films is now using the same predatory practices with their political trash as Marvel comic book line. Well, it is the way it goes. People are upset that I said, please yourself. Yeah. Where did Jane go? Is she still in here? Oh, there she is. George Lucas and Harrison Ford said, this toxic people are so stupid, says Jane Turner. I don't think either of them said that at all. Yeah. All right, let's get back to this article. Thank you very much for super chats, everyone. It's very kind of you. I'll read the ones that came before that at the end or at some point here. Okay. All right. So let's see. In fact, at times it makes me feel worse. It shows that they don't care about this movie enough to defend it on more solid ground. Yeah, she's a woman. She'll love this movie. By the way, this is the attitude. What are you talking about? Women all love. Somebody said to me on Twitter, they were just like, I said, women hate Brie Larson. He said, you're a liar. Women don't hate Brie Larson. Women love Brie Larson. Well, no, I actually know lots of women. There are, many women who follow my channel who tell me they're disgusted by Brie Larson. So if you're able to say women love Brie Larson, if you're allowed to use that kind of generality, I think I'm able to say women hate Brie Larson with the same degree of accuracy. It would be my right to say so. And I do say so. Women hate Brie Larson. And here she is here. They did kind of say, people were saying, does Captain Marvel have a love interest in her life? And there's a whole article about, no, this is her love interest. This is Maria Rambeau, presumably Monica Rambeau's mother. And Monica Rambeau, I'm sure, will somehow inherit the powers of Captain Marvel and become the Captain Marvel when this one dies. But yeah, it's like, no, it's friendship. It's woman on woman friendship. And that's the relationship of this movie. Can't wait. There have been no marketing moves made by Marvel to push this movie out into the forefront. How can you say that? How can you say that this movie isn't everywhere? This movie's coming out of my left ear. What are you talking about? These people, what else do you want? I've heard nothing except Captain Marvel gibberish for the past 2 months. 2 months of Captain Marvel gibberish. Marvel drops posters at seemingly random times and seemingly random intervals with seemingly random focuses. Yes, I'm talking about Goose the Cat. That's embarrassing, the Goose the Cat thing. They've released Captain Marvel game spots during smaller scale, large games, dropping a special look for Captain Marvel during the college football playoff, national championship. I didn't even realize what the event was until I saw online. It was just literally the playoffs of college football. She's upset. Its build up to its trailers has been quiet and sudden, with Marvel trying to mitigate the monster success of Infinity War and Marvel fans' various memes while attempting to roll out a strong promotional campaign. I don't know if I can take this. This person is complaining that Marvel isn't promoting Captain Marvel enough, and I heavily disagree. But I think that do I have to keep reading this? I don't want to read this. Let me scroll past it a little bit. Captain Marvel should not be associated. Oh, this is good right here. This is good. All right, so there's one obvious fact. Avengers Endgame's last trailer will feature Carol Danvers, hoping to create a Black Panther effect of capitalizing on the latter movie's prestige and popularity to drum up more excitement for a future movie, i.e. Endgame. They'll additionally show a little more of how integral Carol Danvers is truly to several narratives they want to tell. She's not. She's absolutely irrelevant. You would have to jam her. You would have to jam her into the MCU. She doesn't belong there. The larger question, though, is its reception. How much of that Black Panther effect will they really be able to mimic and capture? That was the question of the 2016 election. How much of Barack Obama's magic will rub off on Hillary Clinton? How much? How much? Wow, Black Panther. Black Panther was extremely successful. Surely Black people are the same as women, right? In terms of victimization and in terms of, devoted and interested audience. Surely Black people, just as a whole, are the same as, or women are the same as Black people in terms of an audience for a superhero movie. I don't understand why they don't see the problem here. Why don't they see the problem inherent in this thinking? Let me explain. Let me explain. Women, they don't like superhero movies. Don't tell the Mary Sue. Don't tell Jane Turner, troll in my audience. But women, coming close. Women don't like this shit. They don't like it. They don't. Now, you can ask 100 women just at random if they like Star Wars. 4 of them will say, yeah, I love it. You can ask 100 women at random. You could say, to them, if I just add more women to Star Wars, will you suddenly like Star Wars? Is the reason that you don't like Star Wars because they don't represent women properly? And women will look at you like, fuck are you talking about? I just want to watch home improvement shows. Honestly, I like those 2 brothers that you think are gay, but they're not gay. I like those guys. They're kind of sexy. And I like to watch them fix houses. That's what they'll tell you. That's what they'll say to you. If you say to them, are you waiting for a superhero movie? Are you waiting for an Avengers movie that represents you? What if you were an Avenger and you got to punch a big purple man in the face? Is that what you want to? No, you don't want to see that. You want to watch, you want to watch Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper in A Star Is Born. Got it. Understand. Now, yes, Wayne Mason says you're generalizing. Of course I am. Of course I'm generalizing. You have to generalize. You have to generalize about these things. And you say, hey, will Black people go see a Black Panther movie? Generalize the same way. A black kick-ass black superhero fantasy movie. Is that what they want? Yes, they do. Because it's like it's a big audience and it involves a lot of men. It involves a lot of males who are going to bring their girlfriends. It's going to succeed. How will a movie about a white female do? Not that well. It's just not the same thing. Beta male says you are mansplaining. It's common sense. It's just common sense. It's just common sense. Everyone knows this. Everyone knows this. All right, let me look at the chat now. Jonah Texhex says, I'll stay home. And some people want to know where's the Mexican superhero that we need. Man, that is true. We need a Mexican. Do we have we have over at DC. I think Blue Beetle is Mexican. Clarkers, thanks for $5, says, my girlfriend is a big geek and she can't muster enough love for superhero movies. We watched Infinity Wars and she hated the ending. It was a depressing movie. Yeah, it was. Ivan Ortega is a Mexican superhero in a lot of ways. McCrank says EVS is feeding SJW salesman right now. Yes, Spider Salesman. Feed off of this truth. Feed off of this truth. Understand who this audience is. This audience is a tiny, tiny, tiny microcosm. This audience, the audience of women who like superhero stuff, is tiny in fandom. Lately, they've been more vocal, And they're certainly a growing audience, but they're still a tiny audience. You ask 100 men if they like Star Wars, 100 of them will say yes. You ask 100 women if they like Star Wars, 4 of them will say yes. Most of them will go, no. They'll call you a ding dong and say no. It's just a fact. And good for them. Just have different interests. Ask 100 men if they like the Avengers. The answer is yes. Ask 100 women if they like the Avengers. They'll say, I like Aquaman. See an Avenger? I like that Aquaman. Dr. Naysayer says, there are plenty of normies, as they say, that will meander into a theater with their kids or spouses. I agree. I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. But I mean, when you're targeting an audience this way, and you're hoping that this audience is as big as you want it to be or feel that it should be, you have to, you just have to accept reality. It just isn't. When you're saying, how much of the Black Panther effect will they really be able to mimic and capture with the old white lady? Again, look at the 2016 election. That's the answer. I've said it over and over again. This really mirrors that. This looks like that to me. I could be wrong. Black Panther, incredibly popular, made $1.3 billion. What is Carol Danvers going to do? I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. My instincts say not that well. Captain Marvel should not be associated or positioned as 2019's Black Panther. Well, it shouldn't be. Captain Marvel needs to stand on its own ground. Carol Danvers should be Marvel's loud, powerful stance on strong women and their power, not just the MCU, but in our own universe and reality right now. It does not need the in-house competition of Black Panther and should not be subjected to a Coliseum fight of minorities versus minorities. Women are not a minority. Women are the majority. They represent 51% of the population. Women are not a minority. I know you want to be, but you're not. You outnumber men. When did they convince women that they're a minority? Why do women think they're a minority? Both movies have their own stories to tell, and they should be given their space, time, and manner to let this shine through. Nick W. says, Uncle Ethan, Brie Larson said she doesn't hate white men. This is 2019 America. I know. I don't hate white men. But based on everything I've seen in Marvel's marketing campaign of Captain Marvel, this movie doesn't even look like it'll reflect on what it actually means to be a woman, and that is disheartening. How could this movie possibly reflect on what it means to be a woman? I think Wonder Woman did that job pretty well. I think Wonder Woman kind of did that job pretty well. The world of men. You know, entering the world of men. And I can't read any more of this. This is really bad. Someone's despair over this movie being not promoted heavily enough. People aren't talking about Captain Marvel enough. And they only placed this movie 6 weeks ahead of the Avengers to hurt it. People will not shut up about this movie. And it was placed the way it was strategically to help this movie beyond its wildest dreams. If this movie fails, it will have failed for a myriad of reasons, but not because of its timing, not because people aren't talking about it enough, because they really are talking about it quite a bit. Talking about it too much. And that is the thing. All right, let me click X on this. Oh, it's so dry. I swear to God, my nose is all like dried out. I know that's interesting, and you all wanted to know that. Subscribe to PewDiePie, says Shawan Shades. Absolutely do that. That guy really needs more attention. And Free to Talk says it's too divisive. Sound Mixer says, for some reason, the articles are talking about her cat. Yeah, they really think like, I don't know. They think that the cat is what's going to sell this movie. Well, Rocket Raccoon worked on Guardians of the Galaxy. It is it's the same situation. 6 more weeks to promote it. Six weeks ahead is to promote it. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. In the meantime, the comic book industry continues for some reason. And I'm not connecting this to that, these two things. The fact that, the fact that people are still having trouble understanding and recognizing this is such a boring conversation. I can't stand this. I can't stand talking about this obvious fact every single day and having people go, what are you talking about? What do you hate women? It's so dumb. Everybody knows this is true. Everybody knows that, this is true. Everybody knows the comic book industry is abusing its audience, the people, its loyal audience, the people that can actually be counted on to go into comic book stores every single week, drop $50 to $100 on books. The comic book industry is pursuing the same audience that Captain Marvel is, hoping that, I don't know, there are more females and more young females interested in reading about superheroes than there are. And there just aren't. And it's not, it's not like it's just the way it is. You'd have to talk them into reading superheroes. You'd have to change their whole outlook, all their interests. Because of this, we are dealing with disaster after disaster. 3 more comic shops closed. 3 more here. Meridian, Celtic, and 2 Cats. It's just comic shops closing left and right. And I'm telling you, we talk about this. There are about 1,900 comic shops left, retail outlets left. Once we get down to 1,500, the industry, that's it. The direct market can no longer sustain the mainstream comic book industry. They can't do it. So, when we see 3 comic stores close, it's like, all right. And, here are 50 comic stores that have closed since January 2017. Just a list of, here's 50 comic shops that are shutting down. Let's get Rich Johnson's disgusting face out of here. Look at this. 50 comic shops have closed down. So here are another 3. Last month, Meridian Books and Games, a graphic novel store at the Larkin Arts Center in Harrisonburg, Virginia, announced it was closing. They posted, "We want to start first and foremost by saying thank you." That should be sarcastic. They should feel like, yeah, thanks. By the way, we're closing our store. Thanks a lot. That's the first thing we want to say. Thanks for all your help. Thanks for all your support. Thank you to all our wonderful customers, co-signers, consigners, game nighters, book clubbers, our family and friends, and to Larkin Arts and all the incredible small business owners of downtown for all your collective support and encouragement. Is this all sarcastic? Is it sarcastic? I don't know. Yeah. People are concerned about this right here. Manscaped. They're like, Ethan, what are you grooming that you get an ad for Manscaped? Oh, you could get, look at that. Yeah. What could I do? I could groom myself in a gentlemanly way. Below the waist grooming. My feet are below my waist. Shave my feet. All right, look, enough filth, guys. Shame on you. Meridian simply would not have made it as far as it did without this incredible community we're surrounded by. Yeah, but you closed down. With that, we have made the decision to close Meridian's doors. We have just one door. We feel incredibly enriched by this experience. We know it is time to close this chapter. We look forward to being involved in our community in other ways. Morgan now serves as a member of Larkin Arts Gallery Committee and is excited about devoting more time and energy to her fine art business. With 2 upcoming shows on the calendar, Vince is currently enrolled in blah, blah, blah. We will always be advocates and supporters of our wonderful town, and we hope with our leaving in this specific way, the window of opportunity may open for someone else. We love you, Morgan and Vince. That's tragic. Absolutely tragic. Here's Celtic Comics in Ireland. How do you pronounce this? Lowis, Ireland, who opened in 2014. That didn't last long. Very sorry, all, but there were reasons for it. A few of you will be aware of. Very hard to compete with eBay and bigger sellers. Ridiculous amount of parking tickets from a guy with a power trip. Where do we park? Our shops are on the street, for F's sake. Disastrous supplier. I like this guy. This guy's like more honest about it. He's angry. He's like, F you, F all of you. He's like, here are the list of people who I want to yell the F word at. eBay sellers, bigger sellers, parking attendants, some guy with a power trip, and a disastrous supplier. So F all those people. They're responsible for our shop closing down in Ireland. Coupled with a clientele who themselves have daily struggles, etc. People have less now than in the 80s and 90s. Ooh, Euro progress, I guess. This guy's all over the place. But don't we have nice roads? Mind you, all the new ones are tolled. This guy's awesome. This guy is my new best friend. I do dig this guy. Mind you, all the new ones are tolled. I'm afraid retail in Ireland is a dying thing. I'm very sorry to all. A lot of anger. I think that's the way to close down. If you're going to close down your shop, go out with a bang. I don't like this other guy. He's like, we want to thank the community for making us thing. You're out of business. They put you out of business. Don't thank the community. They never thanked you. This guy's awesome. He's like, here are the people that I made a list. I made a list. And by the way, I blame the EU too. Yeah. I blame Brexit for this. And now we get the word that Two Cats Comics of San Francisco. Two Cats. You know, there's a comic shop nearby me that lets their cats run wild in the comic store. You know, I will tell you that I'm not going to buy comics from that store. I know for a fact that those cats pee on the comics. Hey, Zach's here. He says, F, I went to Two Cats a lot. All right, Zach. Let me see here. Yeah. It's closed now, Zach. Just another comic shop that went down the tubes. Two Cats. Where is this anyway? San Francisco. Zach, how did you go to Two Cats in San Francisco? When did you live in San Francisco? All right, here's the thing. I'm not buying comic books from a place called Two Cats. I'm not buying comic books from a place that lets the cats roam around and sleep on the long boxes. I'm not doing it. And this store knows who they are. I'm not doing it. And by the way, get your expensive comics out of the window. They're fading. You've got issues of Superboy from the 1950s that are bleached. You left them in the window, and now they're bleached out. The color's bleached. They're in nice shape, except they're faded. People are asking the genders of the cats. I don't think that's any of your business. Harry Bergeron says, by the way, the code name for the meet and greet character event, reveal event this week at Disneyland is Shazam. That's funny. That is, they have a good sense of humor over there. All right, it is with heavy hearts. Oh, it's just the industry, watching the industry just slowly die, and all you can do is just throw your head back and be like, oh, like that. I make that noise. I go, oh. James Dean Anderson, thanks for $2. Two Cats Comics closed just in time for cat covers. That is the ultimate irony. That is the saddest irony. That could have saved them. Marvel Comics, by the way, for those who don't understand, Marvel Comics, which is in the act of dying, it's just 2 days away from rigor mortis. Marvel Comics basically took the advanced reviews for Captain Marvel, which all said, yeah, we like the cat a lot in Captain Marvel. Goose the cat. We like that cat. That makes the movie. Marvel Comics took those reviews and being smart Marvel, they went ahead and they decided to do cat variant covers. So, you pick up your copy of Doctor Strange, you get the regular cover, or you can get a cover that looks like Cat Fancy Magazine. What do you prefer? Would you prefer to look at a drawing of Doctor Strange, or would you prefer to look at a cat? And by the way, Two Cats Comics, in the ultimate poignant irony, can we see this? Can I zoom in on this anymore? I'm going to try again. They're not going to let me zoom in on this. Okay, well, just take my word for it. That's a Captain Marvel poster in their window. Right here. You see where my yeah, that's a Captain Marvel poster in their window. It's the Captain Marvel poster where she's pulling on her glove, her lubed up prophylactic. Yeah. Captain Marvel comics sold here. Closed. Buy Captain Marvel. Closed. Closed. I can't zoom in anymore, but you have to take my word for it. You know, where my cursor is, right here, is a yellow poster. It's hanging up. They've actually got it hanging. They probably put metal or wooden dowels right here and right here, and they've got it suspended from the ceiling. That's just Captain Marvel levitating in midair, putting on her glove suggestively. Putting it on. Bend over, she's saying. She's telling the industry, bend over. Take a deep breath. Cough. Axie, thanks for $2. The new Mortal Kombat movie will donkey punch Marvel. Maybe it will. I don't even know anymore. All right, so let's read this article. This is sad. It is with heavy hearts that we are forced to announce the impending closure of Two Cats comic book store. We will get our last shipment of new comics on March 20th. Our final day of operations will be March 26th, so get in there quick for those March 20th comics. Please stop by to express your regrets and help us out by picking up some of our remaining inventory. Two Cats. Here's their logo. It's a nice logo. Two Cats. Somebody named Boom Cocky drew that. We've greatly valued being a part of the San Francisco comics community. We say all the time that our customers are the best, the brightest, and the most attractive of all the customers anywhere, ever. We will miss you deeply. Most of you anyway. Well, beggars can't afford to be choosers, Two Cats. Miss them all. And miss the ones that didn't come in. God, I hate that. I can't stand this. The city has one of the best comics markets around, so we hope you will continue to find your bliss at one of the several other fine establishments. Selling you folks comics has been our honor and pleasure. And here's Bleeding Cool. You know, Bleeding Cool tries to mark the passing of comic stores as well as new arrivals. I don't see too many of those. I don't see too many announcements of new arrivals, newly opened comic shops, honestly. Don't see them. Yeah. We're more likely to hear about the former rather than the latter due to concerned fans, but please do feel free to let us know the changes in your own local marketplace. I'm going to Stormwatch today, and I'm spending like $500. That's my local comic shop. I'm going to Stormwatch today, and I'm blasting like $500 on comics. I will not have this happen to my store. God, it's just, ugh. All right, let me find this other article. Somebody's saying there's an article up there on Bleeding Cool about a New Jersey shop. Oh, here it is right here. All right. We're giving Bleeding Cool some clicks today. Very generous. It's very generous of Comic Artist Pro Secrets. First, we have to get through all the ads, guys. Do I seem like, do I seem reverent? Is there kind of like a little bit of reverence about how I'm approaching this situation? There's some anger. There's a little fire. There's a little fury, but also like a little reverence. Headrock says, stop the stream. I got to go to the grocery store. Take it out to the car with you. You can listen to me on the way, you know. The New Jersey comic shop closing because the owner never liked comics. Look, sometimes you fall into a profession. My dad became a lawyer because my mom's dad yelled at him, said, "You can't be a carpenter." My dad wanted to be a carpenter like the Lord Jesus Christ. You know Holiday. You guys know Holiday at this point. My father. He wanted to be a poet and a carpenter, and he wanted to build houses. And I remember being a kid, and my dad, he said, "Son, look at this ad I put in the newspaper." And sure enough, he put a tiny little ad in the newspaper. This was like 1980. Harvey's Wall. My dad, Holiday, his real name is Harvey. Harvey's Wall, we do it all. And that's what my dad was saying. He was saying, what I want to do is I want to work with my hands. I want to build houses for people. I want to do construction. And then I'll come home and write a little poetry. I'll write a book, But no, my mom's father, who died when I was 6. So he didn't live much longer after he yelled at my father and said, "Get it together. You've got a growing family." And he did. He had 4 kids already. Go to law school, make something of yourself. And he did. My dad went to law school. My dad has like 150 IQ. Again, you guys, and when I say 150, a lot of people lie and go, "My IQ is 180." I know what my IQ is. It's not as high as my dad's. It's above average. It's pretty good. My dad has a 150 IQ. He is a genius, and I don't understand it because most of my family is dumb. But my dad is very bright, and he aced law school, no problem. He became a lawyer. He was really good at it. He was kind of lazy with practicing criminal law, getting drunks off, stuff like that, getting people out of tickets. He just didn't want to do it. His heart wasn't in it. He wanted to build buildings. He wanted to paint houses. He wanted to write poetry. Work with your hands during the day like a man. Write poetry at night. When you get home, write your little stories, whatever it was my dad was doing. That's what he wanted to do. But instead, he got talked into doing something he didn't want to do. And apparently that's what happened here. The New Jersey comic shop closing because the owner never liked comics. Now's a good time to get out. Oh, my goodness. All right, here we go. The record store in Howell, New Jersey, opened in 1988 by Jeff Lega. I got to go to this. Is about to close its doors. Originally a record store, it grew and transformed into a comic store as a way to survive the music downturn. Oh, it's so depressing. Posting on Facebook, the store stated, "The owner, Jeff, has decided to close down the record store at this time. He has been involved with the music business now for over 45 years. The record store did start out as a record store in Howell 30 years ago. He has seen many ups and as well as many downs, but he has stuck with it all this time. However, in the last few years, he has found his enthusiasm waning, and more importantly, his heart has just not been in the business anymore. Turning 60 this year, he felt that given this may be the final chapter in his life, that's sad, he wanted to explore other adventures and opportunities. Don't bother with the skydiving. Take my word for it. People don't listen to me and there are consequences. Listen to me. Don't do the skydiving." So we felt it was best to close up shop. Our final day is scheduled for January 31st, 2019. We will continue to have new comics releases up to and including the week of January 23rd. All right, so looks like he's already closed, so I can't go see them. I would have gone. Lega gave more details to Jersey Shore Online that he is instead moving into a pure music career. It had nothing to do with the sales, actually. My heart just hasn't been in here for a long time. No little business can survive on just one thing. As to the comic book line, which the store took on in 1996 with outside help, right at the end of the boom in 1996, it was really not my forte. And 12 years later, believes that the comic industry is a gimmick. It's a gimmick. Zach, it's a gimmick if you're still in here. Citing relaunches and cover variants that adding comics to the store, he was just going through the motions. Everything that we say is 100% correct. Silent Star, thanks for €5. Hey, nice video. By the way, I begin a new YouTube channel. Help me. I can't help you, my friend. Only God can help you now. Everything that we say is 100% correct. I love it. These retailers are complaining about the same thing. Everything is a gimmick. Everything is a scam. Everything is hokum. Everything is, I don't know, selling unnecessary filth to ding-dongs. That is the problem, and we've said it all along. Wow, look at that. I would think that's a Mexican food restaurant. I would definitely go there. That is a cool-looking store. It's a sign that we might be going extinct. Here's a cassette tape. we have a big cassette tape sign that we put up in 1982, and it was just too pretty to take down. Yeah, we know it's 2019, and honestly, millennials don't even know what this is. They don't know what this is. They don't know what this is. But it was too expensive. It's too nice. You know, we can't take it down, you know, at this point. I want it. I actually want it. The store will close on February 3rd and is running a sale until then. As for the cassette sign on the roof, an answer to our question. Regarding the cassette on the roof, we love the cassette. No, I do too. We would love to have it sitting in one of our living rooms for eternity. We have already talked to someone about the process to even take it down, and he told us that it's in bad shape and will most likely crumble apart when it's taken down, partially because the thing weighs 200 pounds. Says so much. Look at that. Look at that cassette. Somebody worked hard to make that. It means nothing now. It means absolutely nothing. I don't know. Oh my goodness. 200 pounds. Yeah. 200 pounds. Hi, Scott Brown says, E will read non-monetized chats from the haters, but not super chats from me. Scott, no, I'm about to go to my super chats, and I read whatever catches my eye. When I look at the chat, I read the first chat that I see, whether it's a hater or a lover. I don't want to say lover. Roddy Lacid says, Ethan, how much do you weigh? At least 200 pounds? Yeah, at least. Squids McCracken says, I have a tape deck in my car. I don't have a tape deck at all. Do I? No, I don't have a tape deck at all anymore. And somebody sent me an Elvis cassette tape. I would love to play it, but yeah. 8Man says, you got them vampire teeth like me, uncle. Yeah. Vampire teeth. Young Dark Vader says 4XL pounds. Ethan is only 8-track. I had an 8-track. I did. It never worked. 8-tracks never worked. The sign weighs about half of an Ethan, says Dr. Fantastic. Brian the Observer says, in 2019-20, look out for Venture Club Full Moon by myself and Zoran. Also, from Zoran is Comic Wars. Check my channel for updates. All right, cool, man. Good luck to you, Brian the Observer. Let me read some super chats. There better be no degeneracy in here. Right. You know why? Because this is being simulcast to all second grade classrooms in Mexico right now. So I hope these are clean. I hope there's no filth. I trust my audience. Okay. Let's see. Open in a new window. Yeah. Nasser Rabadi says, I'm at work. Please plug Trixie. I said no filth, Nasser. Oh, you mean your comic book? You want me to back your comic? Everyone, Nasser's got a comic book called Trixie, and it's on Indiegogo. And please go support that. Go support that comic. George Alexopoulos says 17 hours left on the Problematic collection. I'll be streaming tonight if anyone wants to come and say hi. Seed Fan 85 says apparently it is the difference between week 1 and week 2 that is important to gauge the effect of word of mouth. So week 3 is what you want regarding Captain Marvel, I think. James Dean Anderson says, I love that they're trying to dog one of the most center-left and honest reporters ever, but doesn't name him to avoid making Tim Pool even bigger. Yeah. Wolfenbach says, I'm under the illusion that under Tim Pool's hat is just an infinite number of hats. Yeah, that's a good guess. I mean, if you took one off, you'd have another one. I did see a video, and it was sad. Some leftist yanked his hat off at a protest, and he was very bald underneath, and he was upset, and he said, I use my hat as a disguise, which didn't seem likely. Gunnar Rene Oy says, when I watched Alita the second time, I liked one of the characters more than I did at first, but I'd never rewatch it if I didn't like it the first time. Lycan645 says, pay the article writers to hire a grammar Nazi. Goldfox177 says, you at least like the Iron Man movie, right? Yes, I do. I like all the Iron Man movies. In fact, I even like Iron Man 3. I thought Iron Man 3 was really... I like superhero movies where they fill me with despair right up front. I want to believe that the problem is insurmountable. And Iron Man 3, when his house fell down and all that just seemed like a bad time. I like that movie a lot. Hyuk Gak says Punisher Warzone had a female director. F off. Tabletop Joe says, did you see the Brie Larson music vid I DM'd you? Yeah, Brie Larson used to have a musical career. I know that. I haven't watched any of it because I'm just like, I don't know if it's relevant. I'm not hating on Brie Larson and her whole life. I'm just hating on her newfound kind of, hey, I'm the, I have tremendous power as a feminist and I'm a superhero. When, by the way, she didn't even know what Captain Marvel was. She had no idea. She accepted the role and said, isn't Captain Marvel a man? Captain Marvel's a dude, right? Why am I? All right. Matt Horkin says, enjoying your collabs with V, my two favorite YouTubers. Yeah, we've been together twice. He's fun. We've got a little bit of, we got a little chemistry there. Diablo said, love the morning streams on the way to work. James Dean Anderson says, it's actually kind of embarrassing that MCU films is now using the same predatory practices. Yeah, I read that one already. James Dean Anderson, instead of going to Captain Marvel, please back conflict clause out. After all, I won't trash fans or do cat covers. Well, the cat covers might be something that you're called on to do pretty soon. Clause out, conflict clause out, do a cat cover. Darth Bobcat says, can't watch this live. Please leave the stream up. I have been, and it's hurting my channel, but I'm doing it for you guys. Honestly, my channel growth slows down so bad when I leave the live streams up, but I know you guys like them. So, I'm leaving them up extra long, and then I'll just unlist them. Harry Bergeron, thanks for $20. Says SJWs don't understand why normal people reject intersectionalism. It's because the last two generations were raised on MLK's dream, only to be told in 2019 that he was wrong, and it doesn't sit well with normal people. That's right. Clarkers says, my girlfriend is a big geek and she can't muster up enough love for superhero movies. We watched Infinity Wars and she hated the ending. Scott Brown says, do you think it's weird that the MCU nerfed Thanos so hard while keeping Captain Marvel as powerful? Thanos could crush Captain Marvel without the IG and does in the comics. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's weird. I think that's exactly the definition of a Mary Sue. That's what Mary Sues are. Lloyd Aloha says, my wife does not like Star Wars. Good point, CVS. Just a Guy says, keep up your hard work. Use this money to piss off the thought police in 1984 mentality. Thanks, Just a Guy, for $7 there. James Dean Anderson says, Marvel is making Captain Muddle a political statement because no one knows who the crap that character is except us toxic fans, and we don't care. David Knight says, do you think they'll blame it on Marvel fatigue? Oh, no, I think they're really planning on blaming it on trolls. B-Dad says, Ethan Reed in the chat, he says, make a playlist on your channel and then unlist the vids. That way we can still watch, but no hurting the channel. Guys tell him he's a boomer. I know I'm a boomer. That seems like a lot of work. That seems like a lot of work to do. Let's see. Yeah, Christian Parker says comic book shops are going out like the video rental stores. Bad market or corporate takeover? Bad market. It's just over. I mean, you have to meet people where they are. This is the thing that the comic book industry needs to come to terms with. It's not that people don't want comic books, but they want, I believe I'm right. I believe I'm exactly right about this, about Comicsgate. I believe people want longer comic books, and they want them to be better quality. Okay, like in European comics, they want them to be better quality, like Ultimate, the movie. Like if you could get like Frank Quitely to do one comic book per year, 48 pages, and it's the Frank Quitely movie. I mean, the best thing he could possibly do. Charge a little bit more money for it and deliver it straight to your house. People don't want to go out anymore. People don't want to get in their car. They don't want to waste the time when they can just point and click on the internet and have it shipped to them. That is the future of comics. People will still read them. People will still read comics, but the direct market is going to die. It needs to die. And it's a shame. I mean, it's going to take a lot of small businesses down with it, but this is just the way things are. We can, the art form, the industry of comics itself will not die. Axie says the new Mortal Kombat movie will donkey punch Marvel. And Sean Campbell says thrill as she bundles up for a cold day. James Dean Anderson says, in fairness, using Comic Sans for your logo and allowing a city tree to cover the whole frontage isn't exactly business savvy, or a Captain Marvel poster. Yeah. And so, by the way, but the music store looked good. I would definitely stop. If I saw that big cassette and a Superman logo in the window, I'd stop at that place. Installation 7 says, Ethan, any chance you'll stream the shopping trip? You want me to? You want me to go to the comic shop and just stream it? I've tried to do that before. This store is kind of small, but I love everybody there. Today's Monday, so it won't be that busy. Maybe I will, or maybe I'll just film it. Just Pele said, my shop is doing great. Business was up 18 in 2018 because I switched to mostly selling back issues and vintage comics. They're now 80% of our sales. That's fascinating. Yeah, I think the old stuff, I'm interested in the old stuff. You know, I'm looking for Fantastic Four and Hulk. You know, I want Hulk 1 through 5, you know, the originals. I think they're really nice looking comics. I want those books, and they're very expensive and hard to get. Yeah. James Dean Anderson said, I asked a bunch of conflict backers what made them back the book. Most said they were flush with cash, but forgotten or insulted by the industry. Yep. Silent Star says, hey, nice video. Okay, I read that one. Thunderbird says, Ethan may be more charismatic than Craig Ferguson. I don't know. Francis Lance, thank you though. Francis Lancer says Millennial Matt was the guy who pulled Tim Pool's hat off. Infamous alt-right character. Millennial Matt. Got a $2 message retracted. Josh, the amazing animator, says, instead of watching Captain Marvel, come back Wanpool on Indiegogo. Every backer gets a free pinup, and we're almost to our trading card stretch goal. You know, I'll do that tonight. What am I doing tonight? That's something going on. Maybe tonight we'll do let me make a list of everybody that I want to come on tonight to do an old school telethon. You know, not Nasser, but you know, everyone else, and we'll get some of that done. Ian Howe says, has your drawing superpower been passed down to any of your kids? No, Hunter never wanted to do that, and I don't know about Ava yet. You know, I don't know. Ava's going to turn 3 next week. Ava's holding crayons and markers and stuff and scribbling, but you know, so you can't tell at this age. Brett Fabre says, can you live stream here and then archive it to all caps? We need to keep the Fandom Menace channels growing, and that is a thought. And then George Peter Satsa says, Uncle E, please plug Joe King comic on Indiegogo. Only a $500 goal. All right, so Joe King comic on Indiegogo. Go check it out, guys. Encore Baby says, late again. What did I miss? Well, I think you missed the whole show. I'm about to get ready to get to work here. Let me see. I'll check out the chat one more time here. People said get Mitch. I don't think Mitch is selling anything right now. I think when Mitch gets ready to do the Futurists or Red Rooster 2, he'll want to come back on the live streams all the time, but he's not selling anything. B1CHT says, why the Nasser hate? It's love. It's just disguised. Sean Campbell says, Uncle E, my comic, The Ferryman, issue 2 is launching on Indiegogo on March 22nd. Sadly, our cover artist dropped out for health reasons. Can you recommend anyone? I recommend Elliot, you know, Elliot Fernandez. I recommend almost anyone here. I recommend, you know, Kanan White. There are a lot of good artists. We have a lot of good artists. Critical Equation says, new rumor, Avengers cast unhappy with Brie Larson. Some of the cast have been unhappy with Captain Marvel in general. Iger is not happy with Feige over this situation. Well, that's an interesting rumor. I'd like to do a video about that if I can find an article. James Dean Anderson says, check out Wanpool and Long Harbor. Do it. All right, well, maybe that's what we'll do tonight, guys. Let's see. Jesse Miller says, please get No Kid Hungry to $6,000. It's at 5,900. All right. Yeah, let's put that link out on Twitter and then I'll retweet it. The Buzz General says, instead of sex, should hide Venus in Cyberfrog and Rainbow Brute. Just Venus. Yeah, and of course, I recommend Kyle Ritter to color all the covers. And Jody Hoovian says, die out, you gross white men. Eventually. Let's see. Shane Zelinsky says, please let that rumor both be true. Yeah. Simple Green says, on buying character rights, in the unlikely event Star Wars got auctioned off, you wouldn't buy the rights to Jabba the Hutt? No. People are shocked by that. My fantasy is not to work on other people's properties. It isn't at all. You know, struggling to pay the bill, struggling to pay the what is it called? You know, yeah, you'd have to come up with a certain amount of money in order to keep the license, in order to keep the licensor happy. I just don't want to. Jody Hoovian says, leave Bree, Daisy, and Jody alone. I like this new Jody Hoovian. We got a lot of good trolls. A lot of good trolls in here. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for visiting. I'll be back. I got to put up a couple videos today, so be on the lookout for those. Please hit subscribe. Please hit like. Are you all subscribed? We've got 1,812 people in here. If you haven't subscribed, please do hit the subscribe button. Obviously, you know, it helps channel growth when you guys hit that subscribe button. Ring the bell for notifications so that you don't miss any live streams. And hit like. Help the algorithm. You don't have to donate a super chat, but what you can do if you want to support this channel and see it grow, and you know, you think it's fun, you want more of it, just hit that thumbs up button. I appreciate it. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you again later on. Love you guys. Bye.